I miss the good old days when white people would just throw a party and poison themselves when they were fed up with the world. Can y'all get back to that, please?
And now it's time for Brad versus TikTok, my daily segment where I take on the craziest ideas from the Clock app.
Pronoun of the day is slugs.
Today, this feminist TikToker wants men to die? I wish I could say I was exaggerating or that she was receiving condemnation for it, but she's actually getting widespread support. This video comes courtesy of Melanin Maven 97, a self-described queer autistic anarcho-communist who, of course, has her Cash App in her bio and has nearly 360,000 followers on TikTok. So in response to the women saying that they're going to boycott men after the election results, Melanin Maven over here had a disturbing takeaway for what she hopes to see happen to men. Take a listen.
So how long y'all think it's gonna take before the men start offing themselves in mass?
Oh, what a lovely thought.
I give it 6 months. Or at least I'm hoping, praying for 6 months.
Excuse me? You're praying for this? You're rooting for this? Girl, that's demonic.
They're already going through a loneliness epidemic. Like a dozen men off themselves every single day in the United States. And I don't know if they think that this is going to get any better now with the new electoral president. Like, I know that the narrative has been that women hate men and that feminists are misandrist. Men have no idea how many women opened their eyes this morning completely reformed into raging misandrists. Like, if y'all thought that women hated men before, oh boy, y'all about to get knocked off your feet.
So is it just me, or does she sound happy about that? That she thinks more women are going to blindly hate all men because of the actions of some men in voting for a candidate she doesn't like. Which, by the way, a lot of women also voted for. And a lot of men voted for Kamala. Like this, making this, obviously there are some differences among groups, but it's more of a 60-40 thing. You're not talking about a 90-10 situation. So making it all about gender is painting with a very broad brush and not accurate or fair. But then again, most forms of bigotry are inherently painting with too broad a brush and not fair. But somehow these folks think they're the progressive or feminist ones when really they're just the opposite extreme of the original sexism they claim to hate, with an added twist of open bloodthirstiness.
And I truly want to know what the plan of action is for men, because as a woman who is 6'2", I am literally taller, stronger, and more intimidating than half of you. Globally, half of the men on the planet, I could fuck you up with maximum efficiency.
Oh, is that a threat? It sounds like you've given this a lot of thought about how you want to hurt random men. That's not normal, babe. It's actually not. And just because you're taller than men doesn't necessarily mean you would physically be able to overpower them. Biology is a little more complicated than that. But more importantly, you shouldn't be wanting to harm people anyways, especially because of their gender. Like, that's psychotic.
I know all of you aren't going to go out there and take it. So what are you going to do? I mean, I hope you keep offing yourselves. That's what I'm praying for.
Excuse me? First of all, to invoke prayer on such a demonic sentiment like that is really grotesque. But babe, when you find yourself cheering for people to off themselves, you are not the good guy. Take a look in the mirror, touch grass, get offline, because somewhere along the line you have gone hopelessly astray.
I really want to hear you say it. Formulate a plan of action. Go.
Well, she seems lovely and stable. I mean, on one level, I actually feel bad for her because she's clearly deeply emotionally damaged, and something horrible must have happened in her life to so fill her with hate. But it really does disturb me, not just how individuals express sentiment like this online openly with seeming no awareness of how hateful and evil they sound, but that they're somehow finding audiences of tens of thousands of adoring, agreeing listeners and viewers. From the thousands and thousands of likes that video received to the absolutely unhinged comment section, basically agreeing with the woman and cheering on her idea that more men should delete themselves. I was already getting divorced, but a moment ago I asked him how his drink tastes. The panicked look, too good. Another person, I danced to this like it was a song. That seems normal. Another woman writes, I want it done now. Another person puts, please, with a bunch of heart emojis, referring to men deleting themselves. How lovely. ASAP, another person put, I can't wait, another person writes, And one woman says, let's triple that stat. Prayer emoji, prayer emoji, prayer emoji. The TikTok people are not well. Moore wrote, couldn't come quicker. Let's pray for tomorrow. Manifesting. And I giggled when you said off themselves. Sorry, not sorry. All joking aside, this is really dark and bleak stuff. And if you ever find yourself in this kind of place where you are demonizing, dehumanizing, and rooting for evil against your fellow citizens because of political differences or gender resentment or anything else, let alone doing so blithely against entire groups for the actions of some of them that no individual actually controls, if you ever find yourself doing any of this, I really encourage you to take a breath, take a beat, stop posting, first of all, but then really reflect on whether you've started to act and think like the thing you think you oppose, you think you resist or are trying to overthrow, because in reality, you've probably become a mirror version, a mirror image of that same toxicity and that same negative energy from the very beginning. And it will surprise absolutely no one to realize that this choice individual, this lovely TikToker, also had interesting thoughts about white people.
I miss the good old days when white people would just throw a party and poison themselves when they were fed up with the world. Can y'all get back to that, please?
Again, this is demonic. When you find yourself hating entire groups of people or cheering on their death, you've lost the plot. And it's so crazy to me how people can get up on TikTok and from the woke side of the spectrum say absolutely anything, no matter how crazy and unhinged and hateful, and that's never going to be taken down as hate speech or misinformation. But God forbid I say like biological males shouldn't compete in women's sports. Boom, hate speech, strike, community guidelines violation. If TikTok didn't have double standards, they would not have any standards at all, okay? Again, this is why you should be careful what content your kids are consuming on TikTok, if you're even allowing them to use that app at all, because some corners of it truly are a dark and toxic place. But what do you guys think of this influencer, and how disturbing is it to you that she's actually finding an audience that agrees with her? Because there's always been crazy people saying crazy things, but the concerning thing is that somehow this hateful and bigoted message is actually resonating with thousands of people online. That's the part that really bothers me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and do hit that like button while you're at it.